Welcome to the AI Marketing School. So today we're going to go over an interesting example. We're going to try and build 2,000 plus pages in the financial sector, and we're going to do that exclusively using artificial intelligence and automation. And the goal is to see if we can build a website equivalent to some of these big players like Motley Fool, Market Index, Simply Wall Street, as an example of what's potentially possible using AI and automation. Okay, let's break this down. How are we going to create these 2,000 pages, and what are these pages? What we want to do is create a page for every single stock listed on the ASX. So, for example, BHP would have its own page, uh, Commonwealth Bank would have its own page, ANZ, and so on for every single listed ASX stock. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to generate 2,000 of these unique pages for every single stock listed on the ASX. How we're going to do that, we're going to create a template of what these pages should contain, and then we're going to use AI and automation to populate these pages with the right data and information for each of these individual stock pages. And then we're going to use automation to do 2,000 of these outputs, and then not only that, automatically publish them onto our website. And that's it. Let's get into it. Okay, so step one was to identify every single ASX stock. So luckily, there was a CSV file you can download from the ASX website, which basically summarizes every single ASX stock. It has the code, it has a company name, category, listing date. Right, so if I scroll down here, there's roughly, I'll scroll all the way down, there's 1896 companies. There was a few that were suspended, so we've excluded those. We don't want to create pages for those. So that's it. We've got the pages we need to create now. We need a page for every single one of these. So that's it. We've identified what we need to create, and let's move on to the next step. Okay, step two, we wanted to create a page template, and we're going to use BHP as an example. Here's the title. We're going to start with about us, what BHP does, financial health. So it's a FAQ at the bottom. So let's assume that we're happy with this template for what every single ASX stock page should look like, obviously with its individual information. This could be very different. It could be a lot more detailed. It could be a lot shorter, or with a different tone of voice. There's a lot of ways we could make it very specific. So I don't want you to lose that point. But let's assume for this example, we're going to go ahead with this as the template. So I'm going to tell ChatGPT, convert this into a prompt, which is a set of instructions. So convert this into a prompt, and the only input needed will be which ASX stock we want output for. So it's come back. Here's the prompt, and so it's created like a fill in the blanks template of what the page should be, how the page should be structured, and then the FAQ at the end. Now let's test it out. The whole idea of having a prompt is so then I don't have to give those set of instructions again. I can just say use that for calls, and I use that prompt for setting and creating a page for calls. So and that's exactly what I asked. Can we test this for calls? So there you go. It's come up with a page for calls using the same structure, about us, what calls does, and so on down to the FAQ. Perfect. So we've got the template. We've converted that into a prompt so that we can easily create pages. Now, what we could do is we could manually just keep typing in here, right? ANZ, and then it'll create the page for ANZ, and then so on. Go down that spreadsheet 2,000 list. But that's going to take quite a lot of time to go through 2,000 of them. Could we automate that process? Let's find out. Okay, it's step 3, time for automating the whole process of producing 2,000 pages. And everything we did in step 1 and step 2 was in preparation for this step. So that spreadsheet we created, we're going to be using that to help us decide on which page to create. So that spreadsheet, let's consider it like a task list. So there's there's about 2,000 tasks in there. Each of the line item is a ASX doc. So I'll just quickly show you the spreadsheet. So this was the spreadsheet. So this line item is task 1, and then this one would be task 2, and so on. So, okay, let's say the first task is BHP. That message will be fed to the next step in the workflow. And in this step is where we'll be using that prompt that we created. And then now that prompt will be applied to the first task, which was BHP. And then ChatGPT will produce the content for that page, and then once it's created here, it will move to the third step, which is publishing that directly onto our WordPress website into the draft section. Right, so picks up the line item, moves it to here to tell ChatGPT which piece of content we need to create using our prompt, creates the page, moves it into the draft section in WordPress. And this final stage, you may be wondering, what do we have? This is to then add a little a note here of that task has been done. So let me come back here. So in the automation, once it reaches the final stage, we've set a rule to then automatically move the status to done. And that way we can look at the spreadsheet and see the progress of what has been done, what hasn't been done. It also lets our workflow know. It also lets our workflow know to not work on a piece that has already been completed. That's it in a nutshell, what the whole workflow process is. This is actually within a tool, an automation tool called make.com. I've already set it up, to pull the right Excel sheet, Google Sheet, and I've already set this up with the right prompt that we created in here. There's a little bit of technical aspect to setting this up, and then we've already set it up so that it's pushed to the right website that we have, and then we've already set it up so that on the final step it updates the status to done. And then when you run this, it will run it for all 2,000 pages. Okay, fast forward, we've ran the automation workflow, and as you can see, all the statuses have been updated to done. This would mean that all the pages have been produced. So let's have a look at our back end. And yep, they have already been done. So as you can see, published 1,895 pages. I went ahead and published these. These actually all went into the draft section first. But just so I could show you the actual output, I went ahead and published them all. And if you scroll down, you can see that it's following the page structure. And there's 38 pages, so I can't show all of them in this list here, but they're all done. And I've opened a few examples. So here's a BHP page. Here's the layout. Here's the TradingView embed that we had as part of the prompt. And this as well, TradingView. And there you go. So that's the full page for BHP. Let's have a quick look at a few others. ANZ. Yep. All the content seems to be there with the right structure. And here's the calls page. So there you have it. Using the power of ChatGPT, a spreadsheet, and automation, we were able to produce almost 2,000 pages in rapid speed.